welcome back to my channel. Welcome to a new video from me. Today we are doing a foundation review. I have a brand new foundation for you. It is from Bare Minerals and I'm excited to try this one out. It is their liquid mineral foundation. I'm going to be testing this out, giving it a wear test, and also trying it with a mask. It is 2020. We are all wearing masks and I feel like this is important to see how a foundation lies underneath one. So we're going to be testing this out. It also has a concealer that is a part of this that I will also be testing as well. So why don't we go ahead and jump in. All right, getting started. Bare Minerals did send this over to me in PR, so I have this lovely kit right here. And I want to read you guys a bit about this foundation. I will be honest, Bare Minerals, I haven't really tried a ton from the brands. I recently got added to their PR and I have been trying more of their products. And I will tell you, their Mineral Wear foundation, the regular one, like the mineral loose powder, so good. I got this recently at Ulta and I'm like obsessed. It's a powder foundation. It's really smooth on the skin. I really like this. I never thought I would like an actual powder foundation. Like I'm not that type of girl. I like a liquid product. I love that. So I have high hopes for this one. It's supposed to be the same thing, but also like in a liquid formula. So I'm really excited about that. Okay, so to read a little bit about the foundation, it says the new original liquid mineral foundation, SPF 20. It's $35. It's the original liquid mineral foundation. Is a clean, vegan, buildable foundation with a natural luminous finish, which is like my sweet spot, proven to refine and smooth the skin's texture, intensity, and over time, it's supposed to help with the texture of your skin. Inspired by the original loose mineral foundation, which is what I was just talking about. So it's supposed to be the same thing, but liquid formulation, made without silicone, parabens, talc, or oil. Skin loving formula instantly minimizes the look of pores, redness, and imperfections. So it does say that this is going to be available in 30 shades, so 30 different shades in this, and it says it'll be available on the 26th of December. It seems like it's kind of far away, so if I am able to find it anywhere though, I'll have it down in the description box, so make sure to check there. And then they also sent over their new concealer. This is the original liquid mineral concealer. This is going to retail for $25. So it says made with less ingredients like other concealers. This liquid mineral concealer is formulated without silicone, parabens, talc. So basically it's saying that it's going to help brighten dark circles, refine skin's texture and smoothing, so you smooth out the fine lines. It's a vegan formula. It improves the appearance over time as well. This is going to have 17 different shades. So I'm excited to see the coverage on this one. So I'm going to get started trying it out. So they did send over 3 different shades in the foundation, also 3 different shades in the concealer, as well as a foundation buffing brush right here that I'm going to try out as well. So the 3 shades that I did get is Fair Ivory 2. I also got Light 08 and then also Natural Ivory 6. So looking at the bottles, they all actually look quite dark. But I think I'm going to go with the lightest shade. So this is Fair Ivory 02. So reading about how to apply it, it says shake well before applying, twist the cap and unlock, pump onto the back of your hand. It says 1 pump for medium coverage, 2 pumps for full. A dot on your fingertips, onto cheeks, blend outwards in short strokes with the brush. Okay, so let's go ahead and try it out here. The packaging is a plastic packaging, but it does have this twist up top right here, so I do like that because I feel like it's easier to like store, or if you are traveling with this, whenever you do travel again, I feel like that's an easy thing to do. So I did already just swatch this once in my PR haul, so keep that in mind, but okay, let's see here. Formula-wise, it looks a little bit thicker than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a little bit more liquidy. So there's what the texture looks like. So I'm just going to start to dot it here on my face. I'm going to do one side with a brush and then one side with a sponge so we can kind of see the difference between the two. I'm going to go ahead actually and zoom you up a bit so you guys can see a little bit more close application. Literally zoomed you in and then I was blending out and realized that I didn't press record yet, so I'm so sorry. But I did go ahead and blend it out. I just used the brush. I was saying that I didn't use a primer because with the mineral, the loose powder, or the loose foundation, I actually don't have to use a primer with that because I feel like it does a nice job on its own of blurring. So I kind of wanted to try this without one as well. Looking at my skin up close, you guys can kind of see. And I think it looks really nice. The match isn't actually too bad either. It matches pretty well. I definitely would want a little bit more coverage just because I feel like I still have like my moles and stuff peeking through. but all over, I think it actually looks pretty nice. It did smooth quite well. So I actually am going to put it on the other side now, and we're going to do that with a sponge so we can see if we get a different application with the sponge. I am so annoyed that I didn't get the first filming there. I'm going to use the same amount of product. I used about a pump and a half before, so I'm just going to pick it up on the sponge and do the same thing over here on this side and see how it applies. Most of the time I do prefer to use sponges for my foundations, but lately I've been using a brush a little bit more than I used to. But I'm not opposed to using a brush. I just feel like it's easier because I like using sponges for my concealer. I already have it ready, so I just grab into the sponge. Coverage wise, it looks pretty similar on both sides, I would say. So if you are someone who prefers a sponge, I think you could get away with using a sponge or a brush with this one. I think the coverage actually looks pretty similar. Okay, definitely is that natural finish like I was saying. I think my skin looks nice and a little bit luminous, but not overly luminous. So close up here, we have one layer on both sides. I am going to build it up, like I said, so I'm going to go ahead and apply another pump here. And I'm going to take the brush on the one side still. This time I'm going to directly take the brush, I'm going on the wrong side here, and apply a little bit more here, see if we can't build it up. I don't think I'll need a whole another pump because this seems like a lot now of coverage. I definitely think I like it better if I apply it to my face directly instead of the brush because it feels a little bit, this brush is a little bit more like a dual fiber brush, so putting it directly in there kind of seems like it applied too much product in a way. I'm going to kind of buff it in because it's looking a little bit, it's like leaving those brush strokes on my skin. It's because I put the foundation directly in there. So there you can kind of see the coverage wise. It definitely doesn't look blended, so I am actually just going to go in with my sponge and use this to tap it into the skin. But coverage wise for a second layer, it still doesn't look very full. Like I don't know if this is when you can get up to full, but it definitely gave a lot more coverage. So like I said, if your preference is a brush, you could definitely use a brush. If your preference is a sponge, you could use a sponge. I don't think it's going to matter with this foundation. I'm pretty happy with the coverage of it. I like the way it looks. I feel like my skin looks nice and radiant. Looking at it up close, I definitely think it did blur. I won't say like my pores aren't visible because you can definitely still see them, but compared to some other foundations, I definitely don't think it looks bad. It's not like settling or anything weird. It does have like a luminosity to it. I'm going to run the last little bit here down my neck. I do think this is a pretty good match for me. Again, this one was the ivory shade. This was Fair Ivory 2. So if you are similar skin tone to me, just to let you know which one I used. I'm curious to see how this dries down as well. I am going to powder it just because we are going to do a mask test. But I'm curious to see if this is one you could do like without powder, because obviously with the other one, you don't need the powder because it is a powder foundation. But okay, so let's go ahead and try the concealer. So for the shades of concealer, I have the shade Fair 1N, 2, or light 2C, and then I also have the shade light 2N. So looking at them, I'm going to go for the lightest shade again. And this one is Fair 1N. And I'm going to try this out. I haven't even looked at this. So, okay, applicator has a small doe foot applicator right there. It's a flat paddle, so we'll see how this applies. So I'm just going to go, I'm going to start out light here. We'll see how it looks. It looks a little bit oranger than I prefer for my concealer, but formula-wise, it feels like it's going to be lightweight, like it doesn't feel heavy. Feels kind of creamy. So we're going to go ahead and start light, and then I can always apply more if I need to. I'm going to use my sponge, and if you're curious, this is just the Doll 10 blending sponge. I'll link it down below. I love this sponge. Okay, so we are just going to get right up and close here on our under eyes. Make sure to get that inner corner. I have a lot of darkness here in that inner corner, so I always try to get that. And just work this in. Like I said, it's a little bit oranger than I prefer. It almost even looks a tint darker than the foundation, so I don't think I picked the best shade match in this. They did ask me to select my shades, so I did select this myself, so I think I would need a little bit of a lighter shade, but coverage-wise, it looks okay. I still see a bit of my purpleness peeking through right here, so I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more just because I prefer a little bit more coverage just because I have those dark circles right there. But formula-wise, it feels pretty light. It didn't like feel heavy or anything when I blended it out. So I'm just gonna kind of put a second layer here. We'll see how it layers. It almost has a bit of luminosity to it too. You can kind of see it has a little bit of shine. Again, it is like not really the best shade match because I feel like it definitely isn't. It's looking darker, almost more yellow than the foundation, but I'm gonna have to make it work here. I almost feel like that even blurred too because a little bit of it went down here and I kind of feel like it blurred the pore area there as well. So under eyes, I feel like they look pretty good. They look pretty natural, pretty shiny. I don't think it looks bad at all. So now I'm going to kind of see how my face is feeling. It definitely still feels tacky. So this is definitely a foundation. If you are someone who regularly gets oily, you're going to want to set this. I normally set all my foundations anyways, but I think for this one, you're definitely going to want to set it. For the setting powder, I'm actually going to use their Mineral Veil Finishing Powder. Again, this is from Bare Minerals, and I'm going to use my sponge here, and I'm going to just set this in place. I don't like using this on my under eyes because it's kind of a pinkier powder. I feel like when I use it on my under eyes, it's a little too dark, so I don't prefer it actually on my under eyes. I just like using it to set my face, and I do dip it, and then I kind of go like this on my hand, just so I kind of can press the powder in a little bit more. So I'm just going to lightly press this just so we can kind of set our face so that our mask doesn't move and make the makeup budge. So this powder is really nice too because it actually blurs as well. So if you can see here like how much blurred this side looks compared to this side. If you haven't tried this, I would recommend. I got it from Ulta Beauty again, and I actually got a little kit that had like a full size and then also a little sample in there, which was nice. Alright, so the face is all set, and then for under eye powder, I'm actually just going to take this powder here from Physicians Formula. It's called their Healthy Powder, and I am going to just set my eyes with this. The shade that I have in this is Light N3, and this is a really finely milled powder, and I just prefer to set my under eyes with this. All right, looking at everything up close here, I think it looks really nice with the powder. Nothing looks really heavy or cakey at all. I think it looks really natural. It definitely did kind of, you know, flatten out my face. I don't think it looks as luminous as it did with the powder, but that's okay because, like I said, I do typically get pretty oily, so I like to be a little bit more matte, but I still like that natural glow to kind of shine through, and I don't think it's like too mattifying. So here it is again up close. I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of my makeup, and then I will come back to show you guys how it looks with everything else on top. We are back after applying the rest of my makeup so you guys can see how it's looking. I think it looks really pretty on the skin, especially once I added the rest of my products. I love the finish. I didn't feel like anything separated at all, and I do think the concealer kind of blended a little bit more once I was able to kind of put my bronzer on and everything. I really like the way it looks. It's definitely looking more dewy the longer I've had it on, and obviously adding like the highlight and everything helped. For no primer, I feel like my pores look really good. Like they're there, but they're not that visible. I did put a little highlight here, so I feel like it's emphasizing them a little bit more, but for no primer at all, like no pore filling primer or anything, I think it looks really good up here. I don't think it's like settling or anything like that. I'm liking it so far. So now we're going to do a mask test. I don't know why I put on a red lip, and this is also like a transferring formula, so that's going to be fun. But I'm going to go ahead and put this mask on. I am going to go ahead and leave it on for a full hour and see kind of how it wears with a mask. It does feel pretty like set right now, my skin does, so I'm curious to see how it looks if it transfers and everything. So I'm going to come back after I have this on for a full hour. I'll go ahead and put it on with you guys. If you're curious about this mask right here, it's from the brand Kitsch, and I got mine at Ulta. I'll have it linked down below for you. But I'm going to, what am I doing here? Just apply this, and like I said, just wear it. I don't know why it's applying so weird, but wear it for the full hour, and then I'll come back and let you guys know how it's looking. Okay, we are back. I will be honest, it's been a little bit longer than an hour, probably about an hour and a half. I got some, oh my god, my lipstick. I got some editing I had to do, so I did do that. So, I wanted to see how the foundation wore. Obviously, the red lipstick was a problem. I kind of figured it would be. Aside from that, I am going to fix that. I had the marks from the mask, but the actual foundation still looks pretty good. It didn't look like it broke up or anything. My face doesn't feel any different. I do feel like I'm looking a little bit oily in this section now. So there is that. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to remove this lipstick right now without ruining the foundation. I do want to do a complete wear test with this. So I still want to do that. But I'm going to try my best to remove this lipstick so I don't look crazy. But yeah, this is what we're looking like. It's been on my face probably for about 2.5 hours, I'd say now or so. So I'll come back probably at about the 5-hour mark, 6-hour mark, and show you guys what it's looking like. But so far I'm pretty impressed. Like I said, it's getting a little bit oily over here, but that's pretty normal for me. So I'm curious to see kind of at the 6-hour mark where we're at. So I'll keep you guys updated. I'm going to try to take care of this situation and we'll be back. All right, so we are back. It has officially been 6 hours. We are looking at pretty shiny here. Looking at my skin though, to be honest with you guys, I think it still looks actually pretty good. If I were out and about, I feel like I would have powdered, because like I said, I do get pretty oily. So like you can see this area here is pretty oily. My forehead's pretty shiny, like to the touch, like it's pretty oily. So if I were out, like I said, I would have kind of touched up with some powder, but it didn't like break apart. And also I'm very impressed with how little it's settling in my lines. Like you can see I have pretty like heavy forehead lines right here. I guess it settled a bit into this one, but I have a really prominent one over here and I don't really see it settling into that one. Like I said, a little bit here, but I also have pretty prominent smile lines and I don't even see those like really creasing. Maybe a teeny bit over here, but normally like they're pretty pronounced. Around the nose, I don't think it really broke apart at all. So again, for 6 hours, I don't think this is bad. I think it looks really nice. I will definitely continue to wear this one. Shout out to this lip too, also from Ofra. This has been on, like I said, this entire time. So like a good 5 hours. I ate, I drank multiple times, and it's still hanging out. This is one of their Flexi slicks in the shade Spirit. I'll have it linked down below in case you're interested. But yeah, I think I'm gonna like this. I would definitely recommend if you guys are looking for a new foundation. I do now want to talk about the concealer. So you guys can see I do have some creasing definitely going on my under eyes. This is normal for me. This happens with any concealer I use. I just have a lot of wrinkles underneath my eyes, so creasing under there is pretty normal for me. But coverage wise, I don't see it diminishing, which sometimes does happen with a concealer that isn't the best. I feel like it kind of, my like blueness will start to peek through at this point, so that is a good sign. Coverage is definitely still there. Like I said, it's creasy, but it's nothing more than normal. I do want to powder really quickly just to show you guys like how this would look if you were to touch it up at this point. For that, I'm just going to use this Charolette Tilbury powder. This is the Airbrush Flawless Finish powder. This is what I've been using to set my face lately, just because I feel like it does a really good job kind of just mattifying the skin and making it look a little less shiny and kind of giving that airbrush look. It's so funny because I've mentioned this before. I need to do like a product I changed my mind about, because this is a powder that I was like, it's not worth it. Like I don't love it. But honestly, it's so good for like going and doing your touch-ups. It's not the like absolute favorite for like setting my face. It looks good, but it's not like anything amazing. But what it is good for, as you can tell, is just like setting your face throughout the night, because as you can see, that just like recharged this foundation. I feel like it melted it all back into one. It kind of helped with like these fine lines up here. It really just makes everything a little bit more smooth, and it really kind of just livens up your makeup. So I do think it's good for this, and I've had this a really long time. I know it has like a large pan in it, but I've been working on this powder a really long time now. So here's what it looks like after kind of powdering. So this is what it would look like on a normal day if I were to just powder really quickly like I would. So I do think I like this one. I'm pretty impressed actually, and I think I will reach into it quite often. Okay, zoom back out. Here's what we're looking like. I know I've spent the majority of the video zoomed in, but I wanted you guys to be able to see up close how this foundation was looking. I hope you enjoyed this review on the new Bare Minerals foundation. I hope you found this helpful in some way. Let me know what you think of the concealer, the foundation. Is this one you're going to be eyeing? Because I definitely think it's one that I'm going to be recommending, because because based upon this, I'm like really impressed. So thank you so much again for watching. I'll have it linked down below if I can find it. If not, when it does go live, I will link it in the description box. Thanks again. I'll see you next time. Bye, friends.